it won't seem like this is one of those big national stories. Oh, Paul, why are you talking about this? This doesn't seem to fit Libya or the budget or welfare. We're going to be talking about both of those things coming up here on the White House Brief. But this is more personal, and it's personal to me. It seems like an affront. It's about basketball hoops. And you think, well, it's a minor land use dispute. When you hear this story, that's all it is. It's a land use dispute between a town and individuals. And you say, well, why does it have 300,000 hits on YouTube already? Why would this video in particular have that? Because what it does is it has the government using its tools and resources coming into your town before you even know what the story is. This is the story. This is the narrative. The government coming in using its tools and resources and its power of men, and in this case women, with guns, coming to your town, coming to your home, and saying, you're not allowed to do this. You're not allowed. Your individual freedom is being superseded. Sorry. Not allowed. Now, it seems like an unclear story because, well, let's just dive into it. Because what you have is a town ordinance. You have a town ordinance that hasn't been enforced for years, all of a sudden being pulled out of nowhere and being enforced. The story is about a guy named John McCafferty, homeowner in a town in Delaware, and he had a basketball hoop in front of his house for over 60 years. This basketball hoop had been there. He's at the end of the road. And John's basketball hoop, you would say, oh, it's why would you ever get rid of it? It's at the end of the street. It doesn't interfere with traffic when kids are playing basketball. It seems fine. Why would you get rid of it? Well, it turns out a neighbor called up the town and said, well, there's always these damn kids, the damn kids and their rap music in the middle of the street playing basketball, and I have to slow down my car before I can get to my driveway. That was the complaint that the guy made. He goes, oh, there are always the kids in the street playing basketball. Now, in a country where you have the first lady and the president emphasizing fitness, going outside, being part of the community, get involved in your community, get out of the house, everybody, being screamed at, you're too fat! Get out of the house! When I'm being yelled at, I'm just like, why are you yelling at me? Get out, fat ass, get out of the house! And so, okay, I'll get out of the house. And that's what the public service announcements are just, you're too fat. Why are you drinking Gatorade, you fat ass? And I get nervous about it, so I go out and I go exercise and I do things like that. So now we've got this neighborhood where there's a bunch of basketball hoops in the street. You have kids who've been playing at these hoops for years, going out, interacting with the community, trying to lose some weight, doing one of the healthiest sports there is, running back and forth, playing basketball. It's fantastic. The town says no more. And what came out of this was a dispute because the town showed up 8:30 in the morning, right as you're getting ready to work, on a work day, because they obviously, that's when they work. I'm surprised they came in before 9 or before 10 when the state's union breaks were up. But what we ended up having was people getting ready to go to work, and they look out the window, and their property, a basketball hoop they installed at the front of their yard on the street, is being ripped out of the ground by a Delaware Department of Transportation backhoe with state troopers all around it and with a giant dump truck that they're pouring these things into. So in this town, there's a law. Here it is. Maintenance of clear zones within rights of way. As used in this chapter, the term clear zone has the following meanings. For all interior streets within residential subdivisions, the term includes the total roadside border area within a right-of-way starting at the edge of the pavement and continuing for the shorter distance of either 7 feet perpendicular to the pavement edge. So what the town is saying here, and this is always a dispute, is they own 7 feet into your property. They own the 7 feet. You can't really build anything because you can't put anything, and that includes bushes. That includes a fence. And for the most part, they're not gonna complain about it. But in this case, the kids were in the street playing basketball, so this one guy didn't like it. He called the town, and you know what? I don't necessarily even blame the guy. I blame the town for carrying this out. That's the worst thing. The owner of any obstruction, and here's the law that they were violating by having these basketball hoops there. The owner of any obstruction removed pursuant to this section shall be liable for a civil fine of $25 for each item so removed payable to the department. Justices of the peace shall have original jurisdiction for any court proceedings, blah, blah, blah. So it goes on to talk about this law, and all in all was these obstructions within the rights of way, saying that the basketball hoops violate this law, saying that because they're right on the street, it causes people to be on the street, which causes obstructions in this road. Now, this is not New York City. This is not downtown Houston. This is not downtown L.A., where there is tons of traffic, This is a residential neighborhood in central Delaware, not a high-population, high-traffic zone. So the one guy who complained got the Department of Transportation from the state on his side, and this is how he was able to do this. He got the Department of Transportation, the state police, and others on his side in order for them to rip down these signs. Now, a local Delaware reporter decided to go check this out. So they showed, and we saw the video of the last few days. You've seen this, and we're going to have it up, allpoliticsradio.com. You've seen these other basketball hoops being ripped out of the ground and thrown in the back of the dump truck. But one guy rebelled. One guy and his wife. And when you see the video at allpoliticsradio.com, you'll see why you're on this guy's side. We're going to play the sound for you in a second. His wife decided to jump up onto the basketball hoop to say no more. To say, you're not ripping this out of the ground. This is our property. You're not taking this. By the way, it's also been here for 60 years. It's been in the ground for 60 years. Now, here is the initial explanation of what went on from the view of homeowner John McCafferty, the owner of the 60-year-old hoop, who says, please, this is for the kids. We want to let them play outside. Go.
My wife was dropping off my daughter from school this morning and coming back through Ashburn Hills. She saw about 5 or 6 Del-Dot trucks, big ones. Monster dump truck with a couple already having 2 basketball hoops in the back of it. A front-end loader, 2 or 3 guys to every truck. Coming out, pulling basketball poles up, but only a specific 8 basketball poles. If you drive through the neighborhoods, it's not every basketball pole in the neighborhood that would be quote-unquote in violation. It's a specific 8. And it's on one of our neighbors at the end of the streets, route out of the neighborhood, and he's the one who made the anonymous complaint that started this all back in September.
Wait a minute. Now, let me do some math here quick. I'm not too good at the math, but 6 giant dump trucks, 1 backloader, and 18 people for 8 basketball hoops. How incompetent is the Delaware Department of Transportation that it takes 18 men, 6 trucks, and a backloader to remove basketball hoops? I helped my dad get rid of ours a few years ago because we just weren't going to use it anymore. Helped him take it out. It took me and one of my buddies. Okay, they have 18 people, 6 trucks, and a backloader. Idiots. Now, McCafferty's wife, okay, decided to go up the pole and protest when they showed up. Here, take a listen.
Unfortunately, Del-Dot has the right of way. They've sent out.
Wait, pause this. I
don't want to.
But we.
I just want to explain this. So she runs up the pole, and this is a state trooper, a female state trooper who was not. That's how she identified herself. Female state trooper talking to the homeowner about his wife being up on the pole. Go.
We have responded back to those letters, myself and my state representative, and we have not gotten responses to our responses to them.
Okay. Unfortunately,
so we felt this matter was still pending, and for them to come out here and ambush us at 8:15 in the morning and start stealing basketball poles is not right.
Here's what I'm going to tell you right now, though, okay?
Can I have 2 hours to get my TRO filed?
No, you may not.
Why?
The car needs to be moved right now.
I'll move the car.
Listen, I do not want to arrest you or your wife, but that is
arrest.
Where this is gone. The car needs to be moved.
She'll be up that pole again in 2 seconds.
She will not be up that pole again, okay?
Why?
Because we're not going to allow her. It's disorderly conduct. If anybody goes up the pole.
Still on his property. Just happens to be close to the street, but it's on his property. She's not allowed to go to a certain part of her property because the state says so. And if they do, they're threatening these people. The guy, by the way, had a cane. They're threatening these people with arrest for disorderly conduct in their own neighborhood. The guy parked a van in front of the pole so the backloader couldn't pull it out. This is one of those things. This is not national politics. This is a serious infringement of individuals' rights. The female officer then tells Mr. McCafferty he can keep his own pole. Now, this is where a lot of people have become frustrated because he's saying, okay, pull it out of the ground, but let me keep it because I want to be able to file a grievance here. And the female officer, along with the uniformed state troopers who are around, 3 state trooper cars showed up for this, by the way. The state trooper cars around said, okay, well, we'll let you do it.
Am I still going to be allowed to keep my pole?
They advised earlier they're not taking the poles, they're putting them.
They've asked people if they want them, they'll lay it in your driveway.
Well, I would like my pole, yeah.
Okay, he would like his ball. He wants to keep it. He wants to keep his basketball because he's going to argue with this. McCafferty then pushes the issue.
That pole's staying, please.
Yeah, all of them are gone. Take it all.
What? You just told me I can keep it. You lied. You said we had the option of keeping the pole.
You can come and pick it up.
No, you didn't say that. You said I can keep my pole.
Your chance right now. Go in the house.
So that was sort of muffled audio, but what you heard was he says, wait a minute, you told me I could keep it. And she says, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. So she's lying. So she's a liar. The Delaware state trooper, and this is where, you know what, I guess state troopers just don't annoy people just for traffic tickets anymore. They're annoying you for your basketball hoops as well. Why the state's handling this and not the town itself is beyond me. But there you go. You get the idea that McCafferty says, all I want is just to keep this thing so I can continue to argue. Can I keep my property? They say no. They're impounding it. Can you believe this? They're impounding a basketball hoop because it's dangerous and threatens security of the town or whatever the hell the reason is that they're putting this out there. This even gets worse because beyond the issue of the pole itself, the state trooper, this woman who you hate because you're just watching her. She is clearly, this is the way it is. This is the way the town is. And no, producer Bill, she is not kind of hot. The officer then orders people off their own property, which McCafferty, he's nervous about this. This is just a regular guy walking around, and he's got state troopers with guns on their belts ordering him to go back into his own house, saying he's not allowed to talk to the workers. He's not allowed to talk to the troopers anymore. He's not allowed to talk to anybody. Go.
This is our house. We can stand out here.
There's Mrs. McCafferty.
You just lied to me, officer.
You can talk to me. That's
Roll the
fine.
tape back.
You know what?
You just told me we could keep that thing, and now you lie. That's a great use of force and money power today. And I have the freedom to speak. It's the United States First Amendment rights to speak my will.
Amen, brother. Amen. And you know what? He came out, he said, this is the deal. And where the case stands now is that this is, it seems like a simple property dispute, right? Well, the bottom line is he's filing a grievance with the town, with the state, with everybody because they went up against him. They went up against the state went right up against the individual who said, you know what, we want to keep this thing here. It's good for the neighborhood. It's been here for 60 years. You haven't enforced the law yet, but all of a sudden, because of one anonymous complaint, it's happening. This goes along with every one of those stories that you see. That is a lemonade stand of a little kid that's being shut down because of some town regulation. This is for every one of those stories where you have it really is about kids in a lot of cases where, oh, you need a permit, oh, you need to do this, oh, you need to do this. It's for revenue and it's for continuing the power and control of the state. And sadly, in most towns, it's run by idiot bureaucrats who really, they don't have much going on in the brain. But they're doing what they think is right, and they're on their power trip, and they're doing whatever they want. So for those of you in towns across America who want to have a garage sale, who want to let their kids have a lemonade stand, or hell, put up a basketball hoop, go right and do it, and then fight for your rights to be able to keep those things up. We'll be right back here, White House Brief.
Redefining talk radio.
Why do they like corporations so much? Because they create the jobs!
Paul Westcott in the White House Brief.